make sure that your business aligns with your values and your goals. Don't go building something like for example, I did with Naked Nutrition when I started, because I just wanted to get out of the corporate job. I wanted to get out of pain. So I went and built a business that made logical sense, but didn't actually really fill the void which I wanted inside of me. Because I just thought, females, age 40, biggest market, go chase them. But then I realized that I didn't actually have a passion for that. So then I started to sabotage my own business. And that's why you've got to ask yourself, like, recognize what you want and then who you want to work with.
Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast, an interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 54. I talked to two fine English gentlemen, George Crawshaw and James Moody. So these two have started what's called the Remote Revolution. And what they do essentially is they coach fitness professionals into bringing their business online and enjoying all of the advantages that a remote and mobile lifestyle affords you. And it's one of the greatest opportunities that we have in the modern digital age. And there's a lot of great information on exactly how to do it. They have a whole system for it. So before I get into a little bit more about George and James, I want you to take some action. Go onto Facebook, check out the Modern Fitness Pro. It's a closed Facebook group. And this is exactly what we talk about, is what does the future of the industry look like? We are really creating conversations that matter within the industry, especially for the future of it, and skating to where the puck is going to be and not where it is right now, to use a hockey analogy. So please go check it out. It's called the Modern Fitness Pro. It is a closed Facebook group that is application only. So if you fill out the questions and you are accepted, you'll be part of that conversation with over 2,000 fitness professionals from all over the world. So it's a really cool group. So back to James and George, the Remote Revolution. So they have a podcast called the Remote Revolution Show. They have their coaching practice, also called Remote Revolution. And they have a whole process. The word remote, R-E-M-O-T-E, is an acronym for the whole process that they run their clients through. And it's good. I like it. I'm into it. I think they hit all of the buttons necessary. And they also don't BS you and think it's going to happen overnight, because they've done it. So without further ado, this is episode number 54. George and James from the Remote Revolution. Enjoy the show. Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. And today I have the pleasure of talking to my fellow digital nomads and remote lifestyle guys. This is George and James. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us on, Eric. I'm excited to share some knowledge, some experience, some journeys that we've had.
Yeah, over one microphone. For the guys who are just listening on Audible? Amazon? Not Amazon. For the guys who are listening on some podcast platform, which will remain unnamed, George and I are sharing one mic today. So if we have some head clashes and that kind of stuff, and one earphone each as well.
Yeah.
So it's all a bit, slapdash, but we hope the content's killer.
Yeah. You guys are quite the team. You really share well. I'll just let people know that too. So tell me about what your guys' story is, because you guys have been doing a lot of digital marketing within the fitness industry. I know that we've worked on some projects with you guys at Fitness Marketing Alliance, and it's been awesome. Very intelligent and knowledgeable group you guys are. But tell us how you got there. Like, what's your story? Tell us your story.
For sure. I guess I'll start with kind of my personal story. I'll break it down into a nutshell for you. I was an engineer.
You been eating onion rings again?
I have been eating onion rings. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a few onion rings, and man's got to have snacks. So I was an engineer eating onion rings at break times and all that. And I hated engineering. I wanted to get out of engineering. I was a young guy. I must have been 19 or something like that. And I saw the opportunity to create something online. I was like, people are making money online. How the hell do I do this? And so I bought a course. In fact, I started reading books, and I bought a course on how to sell t-shirts with Facebook ads. And I started selling t-shirts with Facebook ads. And I had some really good campaigns, and I had some really shit campaigns. And overall, I started losing money, and I packed it in. But then the story goes on. I committed to making money online. That was my commitment. And I fannied around doing different things. Like I made money from risk-free gambling. It was risk-free, like if you didn't mess it up, which is what I then started to do. And then I veered away from that. But when I actually got to a point of wanting to give back, wanting to actually provide something useful to the world instead of random shit, everything clicked into place. And at the time, my brother was starting to help fit pros out with Facebook ads and lead generation. And I had the Facebook ads skills as well. I had some kind of knowledge of how to build like systems and things like that. So I jumped on board that, and that was several years ago now. And so I started off by running ads for fitness gyms, studios, because I loved it, because I loved marketing. And the biggest challenge that fitness people had was generating leads. So, and it was fun. I loved fitness. I'm always been into fitness, being a healthy guy, really important to me. And so yeah, that's how I got into this. And then one thing led to another. And then eventually I was at an event doing a little bit of a talk and met James. And we went traveling around the world and realized that actually we have a lot of stuff that we could do together and really come together on our knowledge and do something with a greater purpose, right?
Yeah, I think George hit the nail on the head there with his story, is that everyone who gets into the industry, in my mind, typically gets into it to get out of pain of some sort, not necessarily to seek pleasure. So George hit the point of saying for the first couple of business attempts, he was trying to just serve himself. He was trying to just get significance or to get whatever feeling it was, and it wasn't actually to serve a bigger mission. And that's something that we've noticed really recently. Only in the last couple of months, really, have we been able to completely dial down what we actually want to give back to the world. And since then, like, the level of focus and clarity we have every single morning is just next level. Because we know our vision and we know exactly where we're going, we can easily bat off all the things that come into our desk, into our inbox that don't serve our broader vision. And I was exactly the same with my story. When I started off, I used to work in corporate London. That was my thing. So I went to school, went to university, got a good job, working for a big Fortune 500 company. And like, that's how I thought my life was meant to be. And the whole time, up until the age of about 24, like, something just didn't sit right. So there was something there all along, but I never really knew what it was. And I just sort of keep progressing with this job in London. And then I started to go out more and more. Then I started to drink on weekdays. Then I started to sort of do a lot more drugs on the weekend. And it was just getting a bit snowbally. It was very much that corporate London lifestyle where it's just all about get through those 5 days at work and then 2 days of just like party, and we can go mental before it's back to, just sitting at your desk feeling like shit. Sorry, I don't know if they're swearing on the podcast.
No, let it rip.
Feeling absolutely awful. So it then got to the point where I went to a festival and I went and spent like 500 quid on drugs over like 3 days, and I just got absolutely battered. And I came home from that festival and I remember sitting down at my computer screen at work, and I just, like, the screen was just started melting in front of me, and I was like, fuck, this is not good. So I turned to my manager on my left-hand side and I'm like, dude, I need to go home. And he's like, yeah, you look like it. So I picked myself up, packed my bag, and this is like 8:30 a.m. in the morning on a Wednesday or something. I just started walking out of the office. And then call the lift, go down to the ground floor, walk over the road where my car's parked, nearly get hit by a car because I'm just in this like trance. Sit in my car, put my head on the dashboard and just started to cry. And I'm just like, I had this moment, this epiphany that everyone talks about of like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Because I wasn't being me. I was being fake. I was being the person who I thought I was meant to be and who I've been brought up to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And as everyone does in the modern age, when they're sitting in their car before they drive, they pull out their phone to check it. So I literally pulled out my phone. I was flicking through and I saw this advert for this business course for studio owners to grow their fitness studio. And I was like, well, I'm currently doing my personal training qualification on the side because I knew I had this inkling that I wanted to do that. But I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll go to this event. I had no real intention to be a face-to-face trainer or anything like that. I wanted to be online. So I went to this event and it was perfect time. It was 2 weeks later. Go to the event and the guy just blows my mind. I'm like, what the hell? You can earn this kind of money. You can be doing, 6 figures a year. This is all possible. And I'm like, oh, I want this. And I'm like, how much is it to come on board your program? And he's like, it's $8,000. I'm like, fuck, I've just spanked all of that going out every weekend for the last couple of years. I haven't got any money. But I've got 500. I'll give you 500 now. And he's like, okay, cool. You need to get me $7,500 in 30 days because that's the deposit option. I'm like, all right, don't worry. So I go home and as all good sort of young boys do, they go to their dad when they need money, right? And I go to my dad and I go, Dad, I need $7,500. And he's like, what the fuck? What do you need $7,500 for? I'm like, I need it to do this thing. I'll get you the money back. And he's like, all right, you got to get it back off my credit card in like, it was like 48 hours or some number he gave me. And I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. So I get his credit card. I put $7,500 through on it, get on this course. And I'm like, shit, I need to get this money off my dad's card. So I ring up Barclaycard, which is my credit card provider. Scrap that. Get rid of that bit because they might chase me. No, I'm kidding. You can leave it in. But I lied on the credit card application form to say I earned like something like $30,000 a month or something. I said I was earning like through my corporate job, which was just a huge lie. So they give me this massive credit limit. I then transfer the money back onto my own card. And then I walk upstairs after doing this and I sign my letter of resignation for my corporate job. I go back downstairs, say, Dad, your card's empty and I'm leaving my job tomorrow. And then I go into my corporate job, I hand in my letter of resignation, and like this big sort of just whirlwind happened where my parents are like absolutely just shocked with what I'm doing. All my friends can't understand it. They think it's illogical. And then the crazy thing happens. I start this course and I start to try and figure out how to build this online company that I wanted to build by using offline methods. And basically just through grit and determination in the first sort of 6 months, I got it to the point where it was doing 10K a month just through literally hustle. I remember like driving to coffee shops and sitting there for 8 hours a day, just selling to people in coffee shops. Like there'd be ladies like crying around me from when I'd spoken to them and I was uncovering these pains and everything. And I was just running Facebook ads to where I'd meet them in a coffee shop and just sell to them sitting in Costa Coffee. And that's quite literally what I was doing when I started out. And then, yeah, as George said, everything snowballed. I met him at an event and then we realized that, hey, I'm not actually that passionate about coaching 45-year-old Mrs. Jones online. I'm probably more passionate about living a freedom lifestyle because that's what George and I, started to do. We started to travel a lot, go all around the world. So we went and doubled down on that and pretty much started building FitPro funnels, which serves a much bigger vision, a vision that for us, we believe in this thing called the remote revolution, which is the opportunity. It's more than an opportunity. I'd say it's a wave, a tidal wave that's literally swiping over everyone in the world right now, where they have this incredible time in their life where they can move online, travel the world and live with freedom, with the right systems, with the right belief patterns and everything else. So we empower fitness professionals to do that, to take their business online and join the revolution.
Wow. That's a great story. Yeah, that's a great story. So who are you guys specifically helping now? Is it, is it Joe Pro, the fitness professional, the private trainer? Who are you focusing on helping at this point?
Ultimately, our main audience is fitness enthusiasts, people who have got their qualifications in personal training. Maybe they've done a bit on the side, but they've got a job that they hate, that they want to leave. Yeah. They want to create a business online, like both me and James. Right. People who are passionate about creating their own life, creating their own dream, and making it a reality through fitness, through coaching people and delivering value to the world.
Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting. So I started a gym in 2009. Well, the business started in 2008, opened in 2009, right? And at that point, I was, similar to you, James. I was working a corporate job. I worked several of them. I did well, financially, and so there wasn't any reason for me to really quit. But I remember sitting in an annual sales meeting one day, and so all the reps from all over the country meeting in one place. I remember looking around the room and just being like, if this is me in 10 years, like, there's no effing way that's going to happen to me. Within a few months, I had talked to my business partner back then, packed up all my belongings and left San Francisco. And remember just driving to Santa Barbara to a town I'd never been to, didn't know a single person, to open a gym and doing CrossFit, which no one had heard of. So people, my parents probably were like, dude, this is nuts. But at that time, we didn't have the online option really, or it wasn't there. People didn't know about it. So I was still seeking out freedom, but I was trying to do it through a brick and mortar. And, I learned a ton. I don't own the gym anymore. I'm still part owner of a gym, but I learned a ton. And now I see that, the freedom is what most entrepreneurs want, right? That's what they're trying to get after. Mm-hmm. And now what you guys are exactly right. The opportunity now it's undeniable. And if you're not at least looking at starting to get that direction and moving online, then you're missing out on one of the biggest opportunities in possibly human history, right?
Yeah, it is. And that's the thing that really gets to me when people have this thing, they have this thing right in front of them. Literally, you're connected to the internet. You have the same possibilities as everyone else out there. Granted, yes, you might come from a wealthier background. Yes, you might have more supportive parents. Yes, you might have a better, more powerful passport where you can do more with it. That's all very true. But the thing that really bugs me is when people who are coming from, let's say, privileged or first world countries aren't willing to take the risk to create so much more in their lives. Because I never saw risk, and I probably still don't see risk like most people. I just see possibilities a lot of the time. Yes, I have days where I think, fucking hell, like this is all going to burn down. It's not working. Oh my God, like anyone else. But when I'm sitting there and people go, well, how did you just quit your job? And, you know, you get this amazing corporate job. You've gone to you've been a graduate from a great university. You've done what? Surely you just saw risk. And I'm like, not really. Because if it all went wrong, let's say worst case scenario, I was like, I don't know, £40,000 in debt. If that happened, like $50,000, if that happened to me and I was homeless, I got lost everything, I'd still have my parents to go back to. Because I'm part of the UK, I've got the welfare state, which means I'm cared for by like healthcare and pensions and all that kind of stuff. I've got so many friends all around the world who would happily put me up and care for me for at least a couple of weeks each. Like there's enough support networks for me to survive. And it's crazy that our primitive brain just kicks in and goes, oh, actually, the world's going to burn down because of you, you selfish little prick who thinks like the world revolves around you. And that's how a lot of us think. And it's just such a selfish way to go and view the world because you're not actually adding value back to anyone else. As soon as you shift from that and you can, disconnect from that and start to see, actually, my own limiting beliefs are really fucking selfish because they are. Like when we sit there and we think, oh, I can't do that. That's going to be that. That's a really selfish way of viewing it. You've got to view it as, and actually, I'm doing a disservice to everyone else who I know how to serve. And we say this to our students all the time. When they're not willing to get on a Facebook Live and put their message out there, when they're not willing to take someone through a sales consult, when, because they're scared potentially of what might happen in it. If that's Mrs. Jones, who's 40 kilos overweight or, 100 pounds overweight, and she can't run around with her kids because she's allowed herself to get to that state, and you're not willing to put yourself out there to help that person, shame on you. Massive shame on you, because you are the one who got qualified. You're the one who has the knowledge, and you're not willing to share it. Yeah. And that just kills me when people say that. So, I don't see risk.
You've got to do the proper risk analysis. Like, what's the worst that could happen, really? Yes.
Yep. There's, I don't know if you guys follow Stoic philosophy, but there's a Stoic exercise where you basically just boil it down to like, what's the worst case scenario? And once you kind of look at that scenario, it's like, okay, well, I got to sell my house. I got a bunch of debt and, I'm going to have to go back and live with my parents. Right. Like, well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I have nothing to fear. Right. It's really not that bad. So I think
it's all ego at the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah. Totally it's like the fear of perhaps like selling your house and moving back in your parents. Yeah. What that damages to your ego. What are people going to think of me? They're going to think I'm a failure. Well,
that's the thing. We collect monuments. This is the stuff which really bugs me, is that we're not here to collect monuments, but we're in this society where monuments mean significance, whether that's a car, whether it's a job, whether it's, a nice watch, which I'm really guilty of. I love watches, but we all collect these watches. We all collect monuments today, or it seems like that's how we're going, but that's not really, if you speak to anybody, that's not really what matters. It's connection, it's creation, it's contribution. It's the stuff that they talk about in Stoic philosophy, and it's those things that we forget because of the world we live in today.
Yeah, I agree. I did not see this conversation go into Stoic philosophy, but I'm glad it did.
I've got letters from a Stoic by Seneca, literally right there on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
So, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's changed my life for sure. So I know listeners are probably going to want to, let's get granular on this. So how, without giving away your secret sauce, right, and what you guys do, how are you guys helping fitness professionals? What does that look like? If I'm, if I'm Joe Fit Pro and I'm like, I'm listening to these guys, I'm like, this is what I want. I want that. I want that freedom. I want that purpose. I want that vision. What happens? Like, how do I work with you guys?
So the first thing you need to understand is that we can't give anyone a vision. Like that's the huge thing. And that's where it all kicks off. And we start our whole process with understanding. We use something what we call the remote method. So we're called Remote Fit Pro as our company. And we use something that we've actually just changed the remote method. It used to be called something else, but that's our methodology that we run. And the R stands for recognize. And that's all about recognizing you as a person and what your business wants to be. So if you want to expand on that, visions and...
Yeah, I mean, so here's an example. So when I ran the Facebook ad agency with my other company and my brother, we had a wide variety of clients. So we had people that came to us that were desperate, and we had people that came to us that were passionate. And the guys that were desperate, everybody that worked with us made progress. Everybody that worked with us made an ROI, and that's a really big claim. And it was great that we kept that up. We kept that up. And so the difference is the guys that were desperate, they came to us, they were doing maybe $1 or $2 grand a month, the PT and the gym. We'd get them more leads, and they might get, a handful more clients. But because they didn't have a strong enough, more powerful enough vision of how they really wanted to look, they said, I just want to help as many people as possible. That is not enough. It has to be very, very clear as to what you want it to be. And on the flip side, we worked with a guy in Australia who had a vision of creating multiple studios, these centers where people can come to and transform their lifestyle. Within about 18 months, I think he was doing $1 million a year in revenue, and now he's opened, as far as I'm aware, four facilities. Not all of them which he owns now. He co-owns a lot of them, but we don't work with him anymore. But the first 18 months, he was able to go from a PT in a gym to opening his first facility and scaling to $1 million with the help that we had. Now, it wasn't the help that we had; it was his vision. It was the vision that he had. The tools come last, and you can see that if you chase the tools first and you don't have the vision, it's not going to work.
Yeah. So that's the first thing in our process. It's the R in remote. It's recognize. So recognize what you want at a core level, what your values are, what your beliefs. Because most people are going to start by building a lifestyle fitness business if they are in this kind of world, and they're going to be the brand, right? It's initially anyway, whether they want to grow that from there. So make sure that your business aligns with your values and your goals. Don't go building something like for example, I did with Naked Nutrition when I started, because I just wanted to get out of the corporate job. I wanted to get out of pain, right? That's what I wanted to do. So I went and built a business that made logical sense, but didn't actually really fill the void which I wanted inside of me. Because I just thought females, age 40, biggest market, go chase them. But then I realized that I didn't actually have a passion for that. So then I started to sabotage my own business. And that's why you've got to ask yourself, recognize what you want and then who you want to work with. And that moves on to our second step, which is all about examine. So the E of remote is examine. So you want to examine your audience at a deep level. And everyone talks about niching down, having a micro niche or niche, and then becoming the big fish in the small pond of the digital world, because we can't be generalists anymore, right? Because generalization in the physical world is all about convenience. So if I'm going to go to a gym or a supermarket or anything, or a petrol station, the chances are I'm going to go to the one which is nearest, which has a decent sort of price, right? For most people, they're going to value convenience over anything else. But in the online world, everything's as convenient as the next person, as long as your internet, website doesn't load really slow like ours does when you told us. So everything is equally convenient. So that goes out the window. So now people actually, are looking for specialists. They're looking for people who really understand them at a deep level. So that's why you've got to niche down and know your audience. We made this mistake when we started. We started to make massive generalizations of what people wanted. We didn't know them deep enough, did we? Mm-mm. And then we've been to some events recently. We've been trialing people recently. We've been speaking to all different fit pros. And we now understand that the biggest thing probably is their confidence, right? We know that fit pros' confidence is through the floor. That's why you see these top guys. It's because they're so confident in what they're doing. They're like, nothing's going to derail me. So that was a big thing, along with people wanting to quit their job. So we had to build this into our messaging to really come to where we are now. And that's the whole remote revolution piece. Yeah. Methodology. Do you want us to go through the whole process?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Methodology. Do you want to jump into methodology?
Yeah, methodology. So once you've actually dialed in, examined and dialed in the person that you want to work with online. And, again, that's so much more important, if you're a studio owner watching this, if that's the most of this audience, you've got to, when you shift into online, you can't just work with everybody in the area. You've got to start thinking about what's the individual person, and then creating a methodology, a step-by-step process that's going to actually get them the result through digital means. So you've got to really take yourself through it and think about what are the steps that you take. Jane over here, who's 20 pounds overweight, she's 40 years old, whatever she is, and she wants to be in this shape, she wants to be this body fat, whatever. What are the steps that you take to go from here to get her the result that she wants? Right. And we take that methodology and we can use that in so many ways. You can use it as, one, build systems to get hire coaches and get them to deliver it for you. Two, your marketing. We have the remote method. There's a reason we have the remote method, because it gives something
It's an asset.
It's an asset. Someone can relate to it, and it's there. It's a thing. It's not just something we're reeling off our tongues. It's like an actual thing that we've designed. That's a system. That's a process that gets implemented. Blah blah blah. And there's all the kind of trainings and everything that go along with it.
Yeah, and a lot of trainers out there, especially in the online world, don't want to share their secret sauce, as so many people put it, right? Like you said with us, and we come from the school of thought where we think that should be shared because it's part of your brand at the end of the day. So if someone can, I used the example today when I was making a video on this, and I was like, look, if I was to climb Mount Everest, which I'd love to do, by the way, it'd be amazing, but if I didn't have a step-by-step, day-by-day itinerary or some rough guideline, I'm never going to go and climb Mount Everest because I'm just like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I'm going to die, right? It's mad. But if someone breaks it down to me and says, on day 1, you're going to do this, day 2, you're going to do this, day 3, you're going to do this, and I can see the steps, I can see, the goal, the milestones I need to hit, I'm more likely going to start to think, actually, I can do this. I'm more likely to park my cash. And that's true of Fit Pros as well. If you can actually map out that journey and have that consistent process, and you might be going, oh, but I'm so specialist, everything's different. Even a plastic surgeon has a process of how he goes and, give someone a breast lift, a breast implant, okay? That's as specialist as you can get. And there's still a process that they go through. They come into the door, they have their checkup, they see the anaesthetist, they go through that process. Now, if I'm a Fit Pro and I need Mrs. Jones to part of her money, if I can say to her, this is what it looks like, these are the steps that you're going to go through, they're going to be more likely to come aboard my process because they can see now where they want to get to. And we know that's such a big thing. So once that methodology is all mapped out, we can then take that and we can build it into our offer because that methodology is our core philosophy. And we build that into our offer, which is the O in remote. 4th step, and we want to start with a minimum viable product. So don't be stupid like I was, and we were like this as well when we built this company, didn't we? We tried to make it perfect the first time, which is a really dumb thing to do. And one of our friends, Austin Distal, said to us the other day, he was like, it's like baking a cake. If you want to open a cake making business, you don't suddenly start making wedding cakes if you've never baked in your life. That's the holy grail. Making a wedding cake is the big thing. It's the centerpiece. You want to work your way up there. You want to start off with cupcakes. And you want something that tastes good, which is simple, that you can sell and get feedback on. Then move on to birthday cakes, then Christmas cakes, then all the way to a wedding cake. But so many Fit Pros want to have this perfect thing that they become overwhelmed. And like, I need this piece of technology so it looks like this. I need to move this browser window over here. I need to move this funnel down here. And it's just like, no, stop. Business is people with people. That's it. It's an exchange of services between people. We have to remember that, whether that's online or offline. So you can keep it simple and then build on that product over time. See what's working, make those edits, get some founding members in there, which George will talk to you about the next step, and we go from there. Yeah.
Big reason why we say, keep it to the minimum viable product is so that we can test it out. Like James said, you make the cupcakes, you get feedback on how it tastes, how it works. Does it work? Does it get the need? Does it please the desire that your audience has? Okay. And then, so we run basically the next part, the T in remote, is all about taking that minimum viable product and running it through like a launch procedure. You get it out to more people. You bring on some founding members. You probably look at doing discounts and things. We do this with anybody who's really starting out online, and then get them to run the discounts on it. Get 10 people on board and get results. When you're in person next to someone, I always say, you can touch them. You can touch them, and they trust you more. There's connection, and
literally biochemically, there's connection.
It's physically there.
Yeah.
But online, and when you're having a conversation with them, you can have a conversation with them. And if I'm chatting to James, I mean, sometimes he does. He's not just going to fuck off, right? He's going to stand there and talk to me, and have the conversation. And same if you're having a consultation in person, but online it's different. If you're trying to get someone to read your sales page, you're trying to get someone to read your emails, so much more easier for them to be distracted, to leave, to not be bothered and run away from it. So we need to use proof. We need to use these things that they can relate to, like other people that have been through the process and got the result. Like, oh, this person's done this, and people are going to get excited about that. People are going to get excited about the stories. And so we need to test it out and make it real, make it like proven, so that also that's going to skyrocket your confidence, and then you're going to be able to actually sell it for the $1,000, $2,000 that you actually want to sell it for.
Yeah, the validation is huge. So we do a test launch procedure. It's a soft launch essentially. We get our guys to use whatever platforms that they're using. We like to say to people, what's your social home? So that would have been found out in the examine stage. You know where your audience hangs out. Like, are they on Pinterest? Are they on Snapchat? Whatever it is. But you do a soft launch process on there. So you tease them on day 1. On day 2, you then actually reveal what it is. Day 3, you actually go through an FAQ with the people who have come on. You say, okay, there's 4 spaces left. Now there's 3. And you just keep updating your audience until they've gone at an incredible discounted offer, basically. But the whole idea of that is you get the validation, as George says. And, shameless plug, if you guys want that, we give that to you for free. We do a 5-day free course. So visit our website, remotefitpro.com, and you get that for free. We literally show you how to have that for completely free. This whole process that we're going through. And then you go on to the final section, which you don't get for free from us, which is expand. And that's where it all comes to actually building a business. Now, if you've done the first parts right, you built the foundations for a business, not for a solopreneur or a self-employed idiot like I used to be. Okay. What I mean by that is there's a huge difference in the psychology of a business owner, an entrepreneur, and someone who just wants to be self-employed. So that's what you've got to establish at the first step of this process. In that recognized stage, it's like, do I want to be a really busy time for money online coach, or do I want to go and create a business of scale? Like, that's what George and I do. We have a team, we outsource all the time. We look at our zones of genius and we work within those. Like, I'm now literally banned from messing around in ClickFunnels and any other piece of software, because it was like a black hole that I used to go into, and I'd be there for weeks.
Yeah.
So that's not my zone of genius. My zone of genius is doing this kind of stuff. So the final step is expand. And just to go back into that, the whole idea now is, now we've got that validation. We can run traffic, we can run ads, we can build funnels, we can sort out email automation, we can do all the marketing jazzy stuff, improve our sales skills, all of that stuff to really scale out the business. So 6-step process. It's called the remote method. Yeah. And that's how it works.
Yeah. And it might sound like a long process. And you know, that we leave all the technical tactics and things to the end, because
it doesn't matter.
It's so important that you have that foundation. You know, we've started multiple businesses, and I personally fucked up like 3 businesses, starting them up in the wrong way, because it very quickly gets very messy and frustrating. Yeah. And
coming from the wrong place. If you're trying to seek money because of stress, you're going to make bad decisions. Stress man makes bad decisions always. Yeah. So if you're just trying to go, I just need a little bit more cash, you're going to ruin your business. Yeah, basically.
And the big thing is as well, it doesn't need to take long. Like, we have a 5-day challenge that will teach you exactly them first 5 steps, right? And
have paying clients.
And have paying clients in that time. Like, it's possible to get that happening, but it's not going to be perfect. And you're going to be working on it over and over and over and over again. But this time that you spend on developing this foundation allows your message to be much more dialed in. So when you do spend money on ads, when you do spend money on getting a bad boy website from Eric over here, right, that's going to work faster and easier, and it's going to be a part of a business that you're excited about growing, that there is a future for, instead of kind of constantly tripping up on them things. You will make mistakes, things will go wrong, and you will do shit that you wish you didn't do. But like, that's inevitable in any business, right? I think we all know this. Yeah. But this is not like our failure-proof way of doing it, but it's our process to build that foundation. It's really about what you think about when you're creating any part of your business.
Yeah. And the beauty of it too is, you guys are forging this path, right? Like many, forging a path. You're showing people, and you're leaving clues along the way. You're telling exactly how to get down that roadmap. And that's what people want. They want to see that, hey, this person's done it. And I just want to, I can leapfrog some issues if I just listen to these guys. Right. And that's the whole point. And, I think for this, what you guys are helping people realize of the opportunity for freedom, if that's what they want, the ability to travel, the ability to work your own hours. And I love, stop trading your time for money. That's the biggest thing. And, one of the things that I love is that you guys are sharing all this information, because I think the fitness industry, and this is one man's opinion, scarcity mindset is rampant, right? Everyone thinks like, if I share something, people are going to take all my clients. But like, no, as soon as the beauty of the online revolution is that once you're online, you're global. You have literally an unlimited, amount of, well, there's a limit. Obviously there's a certain amount of people on the planet with a computer, but you understand what I'm saying. It's like, there's this huge amount of, so just share, get out there. And I respect that. I love what you guys are doing. So where do people go if this sounds like, they want to take the first step? Where do they go and find you guys?
remotefitpro.com is where they can head across. It's that simple. It is that simple.
You guys have a podcast too, right?
Yeah, we do. Remote Revolution Show. Find us on YouTube. Yeah, you probably have to search Remote Fit Pro on YouTube or Remote Revolution Show. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. Yeah.
Whatever the shop.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to have, I think your message rings true with a lot of people. So I'm excited to see you guys grow and the impact you guys have on the industry. And I appreciate it. And so thank you guys for what you're doing. I think it's really important. And thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks very much, man.
Thanks.
Right,
appreciate
James.
that, man.
Hey, fitness fans, don't leave yet. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and I want to personally thank you for your support and listening to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. If you have a few minutes, I would greatly appreciate if you went to iTunes and gave us a favorable rating, as well as go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there. That'd be fantastic. If you know of anybody who'd be a great fit for this show as a guest, please hit me up at eric@fitnessmarketingalliance.com. That's Eric with a C. Also, I have 3 questions for you. Number 1, are you a fitness professional who's been in the industry for over 7 years? Question number 2, do you have an online revenue stream or multiple online revenue streams? Question number 3, are you ready to break loose from your local market and take advantage of all of the opportunity out there in the online world? If you are, I want you to go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/mastermind. This will lead you to our Level Up Mastermind group and all the information that you need to know. This is a group for high-level thinkers within the industry who are ready to break free. So go check it out. It's fitnessmarketingalliance.com/mastermind. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you again for listening. I greatly appreciate your support. We'll keep it up from our end as well.